They call it the obesity paradox. Basically, it's the finding in certain chronic disease states that people with higher BMI live longer than people with lower BMI. This is a finding that is ripe for jumping to conclusions, and you'll often see headlines implying that years of your doctor telling you to lose a few pounds can now be safely ignored. An article appearing in the Annals of Internal Medicine examines this phenomenon in type 2 diabetics, and it's helpfully titled The Obesity Paradox in Type 2 Diabetes Mellitus. Now, personally, I think this terminology offends some of the great paradoxes, like dividing by zero, and this sentence is a lie, but let's dig into the study a little bit. This was a population-based cohort study out of England. They enrolled about 10,000 people and measured their BMI at baseline, categorizing them into the 4 classic categories: underweight, normal weight, overweight, and obese. The individuals were then followed for about 10 years. The main finding was that as BMI increased, survival increased. The authors adjusted for the things that you would want them to adjust for: age, sex, race, smoking status, duration of diabetes, certain comorbidities. And in the end, they found that the overweight group lived a little bit longer than the normal weight group. Now, there are basically 2 explanations for this, and neither of them is a paradox. The first has to do with the fact that weight was only measured once. Now, weight is one of those things where the change may matter just as much as the actual value. I often think of it like a train hurtling down the tracks towards an abyss. The position of the train is very important, but the speed sure is important too. Were these diabetics gaining weight? Were they losing weight? At what rate? We don't have any of that information. The second issue has to do with diabetes itself, which is a disease that by and large is caused by overweight and obesity. Put simply, an otherwise healthy diabetic is an overweight diabetic. While it's generally clear in the healthy population that an increasing BMI is associated with a greater risk of mortality, we would expect that curve to be shifted to the right in the case of individuals with type 2 diabetes. A survival benefit of being overweight is just what you'd expect in a disease that is caused by being overweight. So really, there's no paradox there. And importantly, there's no suggestion that we should take our diabetics who have a normal BMI and encourage them to gain weight. No, if you want to avoid a paradox today, I suggest you simply try to stay away from crossing your own time stream. For MedPage Today, I'm Perry Wilson.